It felt good. I was making more money than I'd ever made, but I was spending more money than I ever made. And I didn't know something was wrong until A, I had an outburst at her and got mad with her, and then B, started crying in that very same moment in this room with my wife and the bookkeeper. I did that for about 5 years. I ran these groups for women, and then I ran these groups for coaches. And in 2018, I was talking to my bookkeeper, and she was telling me, Rich, we just need more money. You just got to make more money. Anyone know that feeling? If you make a lot of money, so you start to spend a lot of money, and then no matter how much money you're making, like you seem to be barely in pace with how much your expenses are. Anyone know that feeling? And I was there. It felt good. I was making more money than I'd ever made, but I was spending more money than I ever made. And I didn't know something was wrong until A, I had an outburst at her and got mad with her, and then B, started crying in that very same moment in this room with my wife and the bookkeeper. And I realized I was exhausted and burnt out. The trouble with this profession called coaching is it's a really giving profession, and you can give it all. And I had for about 10 years, I guess. And I was burnt out and I couldn't see it. You know what? It's like we have two oxygen tanks on our back. One of them goes up and down. When you coach people, you get energized. You know that feeling? Give me a wave. You know that feeling. Even if you're tired, you get energized when you coach people. So that tank on this side, it goes up and down. If you're tired, find someone to coach. It's called Help Us High. It will go back up again. But there's another tank over here that you don't pay attention to. And it doesn't get fed that way. It gets fed when you nurture your spirit. It gets fed when you take time for you. It gets fed when you take time for recreation, recreation. And so most of the time we don't feed it. And it goes down and down and down and down until it gets down here and suddenly we're burnt out. How many of you came into coaching because you got completely burnt out from another field, another career? Yeah, usually it's about 90% of us come in for that reason. That hasn't gone away. You just don't see it most of the time because you're in a field that you love right now. But if you don't pay attention to that tank, you will burn out. And I burned out. I was exhausted. So I stopped immediately doing one of the programs that brought the most money into us. Couldn't do it any longer. I was burnt out. And we went in over $100,000 in credit card debt within a couple of months. I didn't realize how much money we were making, but I couldn't do it any longer. And as I cut that big part of our business out, money stopped coming in. And I put a little bit on a credit card, then a bit more and a bit more. And suddenly it was $100,000 in debt. I said to my team, I've got to make some cash right now. We're hurting. What can I do that will make some cash that's not going to take a lot of expenses? At the time, I was running big events with lots of people, and it cost me a fortune to put on a big event. My whole team would fly in. I said, well, look, I'm going to Estonia with my family. We're going to have an Airbnb. Why don't we just invite a bunch of people to come and hang out in the house with us? Monique and the kids will go out during the day. And that was the seed of the deep dive. What's the story I read to you at the beginning of the session? How do you turn a problem into an opportunity? We took that idea and called it the deep dive. We had 10 people come out and spend time with me. 3 days in my home. Coached them so powerfully, they talked to other people about it. And I loved it so much, we did it again. We did deep dives in Estonia, in London, in Croatia, in LA. And then lockdown happened. Stopped it for 3 years. After that, we ran 2 in Dubai and another in LA. We've got another one coming up later this year in LA. I did the math the other day. We've made $1.5 million. Over 100 people have come through those, 10 people at a time. How do you turn a problem into an opportunity? So for those of you who are asking questions about what's the magic answer to this, the hard answer to that question is there's no magic answer. The magic usually comes when you screw up and you experiment. Has it ever dawned on you that the word experience and experiment are related? They've got the same root. Experience comes from experimenting, from trying stuff out, from seeing what works and seeing what doesn't work. So part of the reason I'm sharing my screw ups today is to show you that the things you see on the outside that look great now usually came because I messed up, I screwed up, and didn't get things right. I love the deep dive. It's one of the most fun things I do. All I do is show up in a room with 10 people, coach my ass off. It's so fun. I'm doing one in October, I think it is this year, September, October this year, here in LA with a friend of mine. My buddy Daniel Priestley is one of the best entrepreneurial coaches on the planet. He wrote 6 books on entrepreneurship. He's helped build a number of unicorn companies. He's built 7 companies that have each made over $1 million within a year. And we're going to partner up and work with some coaches and leaders and entrepreneurs about how to take their business and turn it into an influential business, the kind of business that people knock on your door and you don't have to keep knocking on theirs. And all we're going to do is sit in a room and put you on a hot seat one at a time, share some ideas, and then hot seat coach you. All that came from 2018 when I was struggling to make money. So Tyler, you can put that link into the chat if anyone's interested in the deep dive. We're actually going to begin at the Porsche driving experience, because one of the ways I invested my time, energy, and money last year was taking a Porsche out on the track. I had a coach, a driving coach. It didn't look like a traditional coach, but I got insights about how I show up in the world from how I drove a car on a track. And we're going to take you to a track. You don't need racing experience. You just need a driving license. But it's going to give you insights about how you show up. And the single biggest insight I've had from taking a racing car on a track is the very first thing that racing drivers are taught. Go slow to go smooth. Go smooth to go fast. Go slow to go smooth to go fast. They literally take the fastest cars on the planet and teach their drivers slow down to speed up. The lesson that's fundamental to everything I teach, the lesson I keep coming back to again and again and again. Hey, thanks for listening. Before you go, I've got over a decade's worth of tools and ideas to help you drastically increase your income and your impact as a coach over at richlitvin.com. And hit the subscribe button, because when you do, you'll automatically get notified every time I release a new podcast episode. See you next time.